guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to go through my new misting system that I just set up. It's kind of a do-it-yourself misting system, but the core of the whole thing, I wanted to show you this here, is the Orchids misting system. I got this on eBay. They're quite cheap. This is just the basic system, and this is what it looks like inside. So I actually ended up getting two of these. Long story, but I ended up with two of them anyways. So one is already installed in the greenhouse, and this is the other, but I thought it's convenient to show you this one first. What's in the box is a pre-filter here to go in the hose. Strains out any little bits. Quite an impressive pre-filter. It's got like a metal screen all the way through it, and you can see it there when you look into it, if you can see in there, to strain out any little bits of stuff that might come through your hose. Of course, you have the piece that attaches to the hose. Now, normally this would just faucet on, unit goes on, faucet off, unit goes off, but that doesn't work for me in the greenhouse. I needed something a little more automated. The basic system comes with 6 misting heads. They're made of brass. They have a nice rubber O-ring on the base of them. They just screw in nicely. And it has this drain valve here. So this drain valve is key. It keeps the system from actually having water in it all the time, and I'll go through that in a little bit more detail outside as well. And then just some clips to nail it to, in this case, the ceiling of the greenhouse. But that is the kit that I used. So now why don't we go out to the greenhouse and I will show you how I did it. Okay, so here we are down on the floor of the greenhouse. It has been a hot day. This guy has been going all day long. It's about 4:35 o'clock now, so it's starting to cool down. The fogger has been going all day long as well, so it's a little bit wet here. This is where the fog comes out, right up here for the fogger system, but it's also where the mister system starts. So this is the inline here, this black hose. What I had to do was separate it off, so I had a hose for watering the plants. From there, I separated it again with this little piece because I wanted to be able to control how much water was actually going into the misting system. And I have got this turned next to off. Straight down would be full on, and this is just barely on, so it's actually like not much water at all. And I find the misting system still works great, but I found too much fine mist came out before. I'd rather have it on for a little bit longer and have the mist accumulate slower and just come out slower than have everything soaking wet. From there, what I did was the tricky part. Got a solenoid switch here. This is just a Rainbird one. I think it's about 24 watts for the solenoid valve. What that does is when the electrical current is on, it opens a valve and allows the water to come through. This is key to it running. What I did with this was I had to wire it myself. The solenoid switch just comes with these bare wires here, and I had to wire it to an actual transformer. You can't just wire it to a house. You can't just wire it to a household plug. I want to make sure I say that clearly, because this guy being 24 watts and a household plug being 1200 or 1500 watts would cook it in just a matter of seconds. So I wired it up to a transformer that I had around the house. The transformer was a near perfect match. I think it was about 5 watts too high. So it's wired to a 30 watt transformer, and I will show you that next. But the wiring was simple, so when the power is on, the solenoid switch opens. From there, we go into the filter, and then we go up into the actual unit itself. And the unit itself I did show you in the house, so we'll go up and look at the timers and the actual electrical of it now. Alright, so here's the humidity. Now, I did not set it to a humidistat. I just set it to a timer. I found in the middle of the day when the fans are all on, the humidity still does drop, and I didn't want the misting system on for a longer amount of time than I have it set for. So this way I was able to, with the timing system that I used, able to set it for exactly the amount of time I want on and off. And this is the series of timers and plugs here. So this is the 30 watt adapter. And what that is from is, oops, and the fan just kicked on for the lowland chamber there. That guy's going and venting. It's always something. Hopefully that'll stop in a second, and I'll just talk through it. So anyways, that was the adapter there, the transformer. I got that from a single disc fogger and just cut off the end and adapted it onto my solenoid switch. This guy is the main guts of the control center. It is a short cycle timer, and what it does is basically analog knobs. It controls how long you want it on for and then how long you want it off for. So I have it set on right now for 30 seconds on and 5 minutes off. Hopefully you can see that. And that is great. It will do that as long as that switch has power. It will continue to do that cycle. 30 seconds on, 5 minutes off. I'm still tweaking it to see what actually works right for me, but it seems like it's a good start anyways. And then from there, it does have a photo cell, so it cannot possibly work after dark. But I found that it gets light too early and dark too late. I don't need the misting on at 8 o'clock at night, even though it's still light out. So what I had to do beyond that was I put this timer onto its own timer there. And what I had to do with that one is I gave it sort of a day and a night cycle again. And in the morning, you can see how it's only on for a few times. The ones that are pushed in are the on, so it first comes on for 15 minutes in the morning. When it's in the on position, then this guy starts to work and it cycles 30 seconds on, 5 minutes off, just at 7 in the morning, and then it stops again. And then at 8 in the morning, it does the same thing. At 9, it does the same thing, or at 8:30. And then from about 9 o'clock on, it's on solid to about 4 o'clock. From 4 o'clock, the unit only works about half the time to provide less mist. And then by about 6:30, it is off for the night. Even though it's still light out, there's no juice getting to the actual timer, so it essentially shuts it off. So I had to sort of tweak the timer with that. So between the two timers, it gives you a good array of settings for the mist. As we go out of summer, I'll be able to actually turn the timer, so maybe it just mists in the middle of the day for the 30 seconds on, 5 minutes off. Or I might adjust the time so it only mists for 10 seconds on and 5 minutes off. It's really easy to adjust the time. So I'm going to show it to you in just a second. We'll turn it on. I'm going to back up here. The fogger below just turned on as well. That is a video in itself, but that is the fogger running. So that's not the mister, that is just the fogger. And the fogger came on because it went below its set point of 85% humidity. And that's why the ground down there was wet, because that guy goes a lot during the day. I turned off the, oops, and then the mist just kicked on as well. So let's see if we can see it going here. See if there's a good one. So the system is up here. And hopefully you can see it. The mist is so fine, you may not even be able to see it on camera. My hand is getting just slightly wet. You can see it sort of right in this area. The mist is just slowly falling. Super fine mist. It doesn't really get anything wet. My hand was in the mist the whole time and it doesn't have a drip on it, but I can feel it's moist. So that's fantastic. And the mister system runs up here. It actually starts over on this side here. So it runs up through the plants there to the top. There's the first head, the second head, the third head, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth head. So that mist that came on was the 30 seconds, and now it'll be off for 5 minutes unless I make some adjustments, which I might just do on camera just to get it running again. The other important thing, when I first hooked this guy up, the lines just dripped and dripped and dripped. And as you can see right now, when the mist turns off, the lines don't drip more than a drip or two out. But I was finding there was puddles on the ground, so I installed that little brass valve onto the end. And that was great, but the water still poured out of that brass valve all the way down onto the floor. It just sprayed out, and I ended up with a puddle at the end. Because every time the mist would come on, when it would go off again, it would just drain the line, and then the line would just drain onto the floor in the greenhouse. So I solved that problem, and I think quite ingeniously. There's the brass valve up there, and I funneled it into a leftover garden hose that just has the ends removed. And so the water goes down the garden hose, across. It sucks to have an extra garden hose in here, and I'll hide it more. As I say, this system just got set up, but there's the garden hose down there, and then it heads and it goes out the back and down, and so any extra water that's in the line just goes out that garden hose and keeps it quite dry. As you can see, with the misting system on, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 30 seconds on, the floor is still completely dry. And I'm just going to adjust the tripod here so that we can be steady again. Hold on. Alright, back on the tripod, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go turn on the switch and show you the misting system. So, don't know if you can come with me here. I might be blocking it all, but it's just right up here. And I'm going to turn it to like 2 minutes on. Now it's still set for 5 minutes off, so I'm just going to reduce that time down to 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. And then the misting system starts up. And unfortunately the mist is just so fine you can just barely see it on camera. It's very still in here right now because I don't have the fans on, but normally the fans move this stuff around quite a bit as well. But it's great for all the Nepenthes that are back there. They get their misting. You can see this plant here is getting a little bit wet. It's definitely different with the fans off. It's the fans on really keep it mixed up. But anyways, yeah, so totally versatile. I'll be able to adjust the times as weather is needed and have it on for longer on hot days. On cloudy days, I may even adjust it so it barely comes on at all. But I love the fact that you can have it on for literally 10 seconds at a time, and it makes it so that by the time the lines actually fill, the mist actually comes out of the things for about 5 seconds before it's off again. So you could do 10 seconds on every minute if you wanted to, and just keep a very fine mist just going. Normally I don't have it on this long. Stuff does start to drip, but when it's just 10 to 30 seconds on at a time, you don't even get any drips. And it's really weird now because with the fog going and the mist going at the same time, the fog is able to stay on the ground longer, and yeah, it doesn't just dissipate as fast. So there's a fogger and a mist system on. But anyways, I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.